Hello, my name is Tony Beers, and this is Movie Grades.
And just like the movies, we play out our last scene.
Hello everybody, Tony Beers here again. And in this episode of Movie Grades, I'm going to be talking about G.I. Joe Retaliation. Now, can somebody tell me why all these G.I. Joe titles have to have words beginning with the letter R in them? I mean, you got Rise, Retaliation, Resolute, Renegades, A Real American Hero. Come on, G.I. Joe, why? In G.I. Joe Retaliation, Zartan, disguised as the President of the United States, accused the Joes of being traitors and orders their deaths. Roadblock, Flint, Lady J, Snake Eyes, and Jinx are the only ones that remain after the attack ordered by Zartan. The Joes must clear their names and stop Cobra from taking over the world. Before I begin my review, I would like to say that there will be spoilers in this review. Also, I came in kind of late into the movie. I came in right when Roadblock and Duke were playing video games. I really like this movie, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I hated the rise of Cobra, and my expectations for this movie was very low. And comparing Retaliation to Rise, Retaliation looks like a masterpiece. I was first apprehensive about the director, John Chu, because he directed the Justin Bieber movie and the Step Up movies. Then I came to the realization that directing and choreographing a dance scene is very similar to choreographing and directing an action scene. So that kind of put my mind at ease. There are some things that was in Rise of Cobra that is not in Retaliation, which automatically makes Retaliation a better movie. In Retaliation, there is no Stephen Summers, no Marlon Wayans, no accelerator suits, no Snake Eyes mouths, no all-black, unmilitaristic, Batman wannabe suits, and no goofy, unrealistic, so far beyond science fiction holograms everywhere, gadgets, weapons, and vehicles. Or at least less of them. Yeah, I know the G.I. Joe cartoon had its fair share of crazy science fiction, but it stood out amongst other 80s cartoons because it had real people in it. These were people that didn't have superpowers or any kind of magical powers or anything like that. These were real people who were real soldiers doing a real job. And when you're making a live-action version of it, now's your chance to take your G.I. Joe characters and bring them into the real world with real weapons and real vehicles. Unfortunately, the first movie decided to go the complete opposite way. I mean, when making a Justice League movie, do you want it to be more like Super Friends or more like the Justice League Unlimited cartoon series? And when making a Batman movie, do you want it to be more like Batman and Robin or The Dark Knight? And that's what G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra was. It was more like Batman and Robin, whereas G.I. Joe Retaliation is more like the Dark Knight, or at least Tim Burton's '89 Batman film. Now, as much as I like this movie, there's still some things I didn't like, so let's start off with the bad of G.I. Joe Retaliation. There are some things that was in Rise of Cobra that is not in Retaliation, and there is absolutely no explanation. I mean, what happened to Scarlet, the Baroness, Heavy Duty, General Hawk, Breaker, and Ripcord? Well, let's hope Ripcord is dead. And wasn't Storm Shadow dead in the last movie? I mean, how did he come back? They get rid of Destro for absolutely no reason. He wears a mask on his face just like Cobra Commander, so they could get any actor to play him. Firefly literally has fireflies. I mean, he has these little explosive robotic fireflies, and I think the filmmakers took his name a little too literally. I mean, Snake Eyes doesn't have snakes coming out of his eyes, and Roadblock doesn't sit in the middle of a road and stop traffic. Zartan is never Zartan in this movie. He's mostly disguised as the president throughout the whole movie. You're telling me they can't be a scene where he's hanging out with nothing but other Cobra agents and he can't be Zartan? Arnold Vosloo, who was Zartan in the last movie, is actually in this movie, but for a few seconds maybe. And I wonder how much he got paid just to be there for a few seconds and say absolutely nothing. Flint is totally useless in this movie. I mean, all the other characters have their own specialty, but Flint seems to do nothing. I mean, he's Lady J's boyfriend, and that's it. Even the actor they have playing him isn't that good. The RZA, much like Marlon Wayans in the last movie, seems to be out of place. It doesn't quite make sense to have a black leader of an ancient Japanese ninja clan, but then again, he was black in the comics, so I can't really complain. The entire city of London is destroyed. Now, in the last film, the Eiffel Tower fell over, but that was just a tower. This was an entire city. And I'd actually completely forgotten about this until I saw it in someone else's review, because it's completely forgotten about in the movie. They never mention it again. It's destroyed, and nobody ever says anything about London being destroyed. And in my opinion, this is a big failure for the Joes. I mean, if this was an American city, they would never blow up an American city in a G.I. Joe movie. But since it's London, it's okay to destroy London. I mean, millions of people probably died, and so this is a huge failure for G.I. Joe. And now, on to what's good about the movie. Did I mention that Marlon Wayans is not in this movie? The action is amazing in this movie. On the way home, I asked my friend what was his favorite scene in the movie, and he said, well, of course it has to be the scene with Lady J in her jogging suit. But after that, the next best scene is the ninja fight on the mountain. And I have to agree with him. Lady J did look good in that jogging suit, but the action scene on the ninja fight on that mountain just blew my mind. It is easily the best action scene in the movie. Now, you know that they're not going to have the actors up on a real mountain, just dangling on a real mountain, so you know that it's fake. But I'm telling you, it's the best fake-looking mountain I've ever seen. And on to the special effects. The special effects are also very well done, especially looking at the CGI on the Hiss tank. That looked very real. And that's what I'm really like about this movie, is it finally has actual G.I. Joe vehicles in this movie, and the Hiss tank looks great. The acting, aside from the RZA and the guy who played Flint, was pretty good. The Rock's the best I have ever seen him. Channing Tatum was much better as Duke. I assume that's because of the reshoots they did with his character. And this time around, Duke has a lot more humanity. Jonathan Pryce seems to be having a lot of fun playing the President of the United States / Zartan in this movie. The story is good. It's very basic, but it's good. There's one point in the story where Snake Eyes speaks, and this got me very upset. I was shaking my head, and I was about to give it a grade of an F right there. I mean, that's one thing you don't do. You don't have Snake Eyes speaking. But this problem is fixed later on, so I got upset over nothing. There's another part where Storm Shadow turns good, and I don't have a big problem with this because they did the same thing in the cartoon series. But I've always preferred Storm Shadow as a bad guy. I mean, without Storm Shadow, who's Snake Eyes gonna fight? Now, some characters die in this movie, but thankfully there are plenty of G.I. Joes that haven't been seen yet. I would like to see Spirit, Alpine, and Bazooka. You can't have Alpine without Bazooka. Doc, Quick Kick, Wild Bill, and Shipwreck. I even thought about cosplaying a Shipwreck. And for Cobra, I would like to see Tomax and Zaymont, Major Blood, Scrap Iron, Wild Weasel, and we need some more Dreadnoks, especially Zarana and Ziana, so we can have a few more women in the movie. I would like to know what G.I. Joes they haven't shown yet that you guys would like to see. So, with all my complaints, it might seem like I don't like this movie, but I really did. It's not perfect, mind you, but it's a step in the right direction. So, my final grade for G.I. Joe Retaliation is a B-. I'm Tony Beers, and I'll see you next time.